wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and we're about to watch an exciting match from the Carcassonne World Cup Round 5. Team UK is playing against Team Catalonia, and both of these teams desperately need a win in order to preserve their chances to advance to their playoffs. We'll start by looking at the tournament table. This is a Group B match where Spain has pretty much secured their spots in the playoffs. China is quite close to doing this, and then there are 5 teams in contention for the third spot. So there's Latvia, Poland, Ukraine, Catalonia, and the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is doing not that great with only 1 victory out of 4, but that 1 victory was against one of Group B favorites, at least initially. That was against Ukraine. So United Kingdom doesn't have this. Well, obviously they have difficult matches ahead of them, but they have already played Spain, they have already played China, and this is already something that they've gotten out of the way. Now, if they do win and they win their other 2 matches, and if other teams play with each other in such a way that gives the UK a favorable outcome, then the UK can still make it via tiebreakers. If the United Kingdom loses now, well, they, I think, are out of this mathematically. So it's do or die for them. Catalonia, on the other hand, is in a slightly better position. I mean, they're amongst all the teams that have 4 victories out of 2, and if they manage to win against the United Kingdom, they'll be on 3 out of 5. They have 2 tricky matches ahead of them. One of them will be against Team China, so that's something. But if they do manage to win against China, then their chances to advance to the playoffs are actually doing pretty well. Then they're pretty high. All right, hi Glavier, hi Elias, hi Vika. So, I'm going to show you a bunch of stats, and here you will see why maybe Team Catalonia is not in such a great position. I just need to do this. So, if we look at the ratings, just at the ratings, not previous history, not anything, just at the pure numbers on paper, you can see that the ELO calculator suggests that there is an 80% chance of the Team United Kingdom winning. Why is that? Well, Team Catalonia has lined up 2 players below the rating of 500, even though they're probably stronger than this. I mean, I've seen the play with the lovely screen named Freddie Wolf play before. It is of course unfortunate for them that they are facing against the reigning UK champion Chris Wallace, and I would be very surprised if Catalonia manages to put an upset on table 4. But the other pairings are doing maybe not that bad for Catalonia, so certainly Ted versus La Nova Era is a key matchup that Catalonia could win. Danny versus Ever is a little bit harder, but still not impossible. And on table 5, Pronum Febla, the former captain of Team Catalonia from last year, she will be facing Jack Fowler, and this is the one table where Catalonia has actually their opponents outrated. So a potential path to victory for Catalonia would be just securing this win over here, then winning this key matchup on table 3 with 2 sort of roughly equal players, and maybe securing one of the upsets either on table 1 or table 2. An ELO difference of under 100 is absolutely surmountable, and as many of my guests would say, that rating is not everything, and there's just this match today and anything could still happen. But overall, you can see that the United Kingdom is about 100 rating points ahead of Catalonia in terms of average ELO, so they are certainly going to be the favorites. And we will start seeing this matchup from table 3, because I think these are the highest rated players. They're also quite close. Ted the Naughty Bear is Vengi Lim the twice UK champion from 2019 and 2021, something like this. I might be mistaken. And Eduard Jorkala, Nova Era, is just generally a strong player. They're also quite fast. They're really good with fields. That's what I remember from them. Right, hi Self-Evident, hi Steven. So, oh, we actually managed to complete the intro quite efficiently. That, like, really what I had to say. So I have 2 minutes to spare. So if you want to talk about anything else, then do let me know. Otherwise, I will just keep refreshing. You know what? I'm gonna just keep this on the screen for a couple more minutes for those of you who want to like look in the statistics a little bit further, to have a look at the game odds, at the duel odds, and everything. And also, do let me know in the chat who do you think will win and what the score is going to be. Of course, I am hoping that the score will be 3-2, just for the content. Kirill is asking, how is the fantasy doing? I will do a brief update, I guess, mid-stream, because the games are starting in 1 minute. I did a bit of an update briefly, and we'll have a look at this at the end of the stream. Also, I'm not entirely impartial, right, because my team, Team Latvia, is playing today, and the outcome of the match, of today's match, is also important. So, okay, let me just remove this stat thing. So as you can see, Team Latvia is now in third position. Latvia will have today an interesting match against the Ukraine, also a key match for the positions. But then we would need, I'm not really sure exactly who do we want to win. So on the one hand, if United Kingdom wins against Catalonia, then they both are on 2 victories out of 5, and we are on 2 victories out of 4, so that's already better. We're going to be either 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5. And with better tiebreakers, so I guess we will be both ahead. But on the other hand, if Catalonia wins, then United Kingdom will be no longer motivated to play their best, and then as Latvia has to play with the United Kingdom next week, this would sort of kind of benefit us. But in reality, it's actually hard to say which team's victory will be beneficial for me and my team, so I will be more or less impartial. I just hope to see some good moves, and I will root for whoever plays better. Aha, Kirill from my team is saying that you will root for United Kingdom with all your heart because you think it will benefit Latvia. Sure, yeah, feel free to do so. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. The most important thing that will benefit Latvia is to winning our games. But I will stream that game a little bit later today. That's going to be about 3 hours from now, so I'll see you then. And now I'll just simply start refreshing. And it seems that they have already started. Quite a concise intro here from the Catalan player. They say they never play with the tile counter. Well, that's good for them. Quite a standard opening. Well, Kirill, if you're rooting for UK with all your heart, maybe it's not such a great start for you, because red here, the Catalan player has drawn a monastery, a 5-point monastery, so a slight opening advantage. Now taking a 2-point road. Also, there's a juicy 3-point road next to his monastery up for grabs for everybody. This city is equal. This city by yellow by the British player is kind of uninspiring if you ask me. And to be honest, I'm not sure exactly what this meeple is doing here, voluntarily placing himself under control, so the British player must know something that I don't. Stephen Chang is asking why Alexey isn't going to fight for Latvia later. I'm not the only person in the team. That was a subtle strategic captain decision. The Catalan player has got a 4-point road now, which is great for them, and the British player got a 4-point city. But in the process, this monastery has been building itself up, getting closer to completion. Still slight advantage for red. Now, tricky decision for red here. I think I do see a move, but he's certainly thinking between several options. One is trying to fight for this city, which I'm not sure is the strongest move, but it's certainly doable. Another one is to start a field with 1 city cap and 2 city caps open. That's also possible. A third option, kind of the most conservative and probably the best, or at least something that he's thinking for sure, is starting a new city like this outwards. Oh, so he fights from the city from this side. That's very interesting. And he leaves an empty city cap to block this 1-point city meeple together with the red monastery. That's interesting. I don't think it should work out. I think you were going to fight for the city, then this side was a little bit more productive. But if he manages to draw a couple of triangles, then red will be in a commanding position for sure. He doesn't draw a triangle, he does draw a city cap. He'll now think between 3 moves, actually. He could score 4 points for the city, which is the sort of more traditional move and the one that makes more sense to me. There were some other things that he could have done. He decides to keep it simple. Ted now, of course, will finish his road, but the question is, does it come with a farm? And I think it does. Even though there are only 2 cities completed, there could be 3 or 4 cities here, well, 1 or 2 cities here, depending on if any splitters are drawn, like, because this could become 1 big city with 2 triangles like this, or, you know, red could draw a triangle and bail out with a city like this, and maybe there's another divider. So it's certainly a field with a lot of potential, and it's good to save a tempo and, you know, invest a meeple in advance. Now the position of yellow is actually not that bad. It's just all a question of, will yellow manage to equalize the city, which they should at some point. Now red is thinking here, and that's because they're actually not so many great moves. I mean, you could start a new city somewhere, but this tile is awkward no matter where you put it. I think maybe the move is actually to just go here, as unpleasant as it may seem, and start a new city. Yeah, but it is kind of awkward, and the problem is that this meeple does get blocked at a high frequency. Not that much anymore, because, well, yellow, of course, managed to equalize the city, but this also means that red now is not such a big hurry to connect this piece, since he's not going to win the city over. So red will be trying to grab a city cap to build the city like this, and only then connect his 1-point meeple with a city. But then again, there's another problem of having 2 meeples tangled up like this. So let's say, if as red you draw a city cap over here, then yellow can draw a road and put real pressure on this square, maybe connect over here, then block this spot from above, and enjoy like 7 versus 1 mini battle over here. But this mini battle maybe won't matter that much, because red just drew a fantastic tile. He managed to place a monastery next to the other monastery, and yeah, this is just fantastic for him. And to be honest, now probably red doesn't mind this meeple getting blocked. He just wants to maybe get some meeples back, maybe score some quick points. I would imagine a crossroads would be a tile that yellow absolutely would love over here to put pressure on this meeple. Ted not starting a new city with the shielded tile and not going over here either. It's surprised, quite a conservative move. Maybe he wanted to prevent Edward from doing a content move, like going over here with a city cap and meepling the city, hoping of quadruple city tile. But the thing, you play moves like these, defensive moves like this, when you think you are ahead, and I seriously doubt if the British player is actually ahead or not. He starts a new city and puts further pressure on this city, so he hopes to block this guy for 2 points and then win with a big field, which actually sounds like a really sound strategy. That's the way how you combat the monasteries. You need a big feature like a big ruin or a field. And while the prospects of a big ruin over here have been entirely eliminated because this ruin will going to be shared, so yellow just goes for a big field. And what a fantastic tile over here, although I'm not quite sure about that city meeple. That's quite interesting. This is super vulnerable, although this could well work out. All the 8 triple cities, all the 7 triple cities and the 1 quadruple city are still in play, so that's a rather interesting aggression over here from yellow, also quite strongly expanding his field, which I rather like. La Nova Era now covering his city from one side, preparing to finish it and getting a meeple back. If he manages to get a meeple back, that certainly will be a huge gain for red in this position. However, yellow will now absolutely attempt to block. He goes over here, now puts pressure over here, but now, of course, red will save this meeple by going over here, and there will still be 4 regular city caps, or as the British team likes to call them, vanilla city caps. I love this terminology so much, which gives an like 94-ish% chance of this meeple actually coming back. So this is a huge gain. Now, to compensate for that, yellow drew one of the 3 city tiles, and now that I think about it, I really like this meeple over here because he recognized that just so many of these tiles were remaining, and there was a really high chance of him completing the connection. And red is now a bit of a pickle because there are too many threats. Red has only 1 meeple. I guess red kind of wants to go here. I think you have to equalize this city, even if it's with your last meeple. You know, he goes over here and starts a new city. I don't like this play at all. I think we see the first misstep of the game. He starts the city in his opponent's field as well. Yeah, so I do think it's quite a serious miscalculation here by yellow. If you're gonna spend your by red, if you're gonna spend your last meeple, it's far more important to equalize your opponent's 8-point city rather than start your own 1-point city, potentially 4-point city, especially with a meeple minority. So he does get a meeple back, and the only difference is these extra 8 points on the scoreboard. So let's see if this misstep will be decisive for red. It seems like, despite the opening disadvantage, yellow is now finding the thread of the game. Look at this elegant block over here. So actually, yellow made it so that it is impossible to fill in these 2 squares. But he also did so without adding an extra point to his opponent. No, lovely monastery tile, but really not too many places to meeple it, and probably maybe in this position you actually don't. On the other hand, even though you're doing well as yellow, the scoreboard still favors the Catalan player, so maybe it's actually not such a bad idea to spend your last meeple on the monastery. Nope, no way, decides Ted, and just simply uses the monastery tile to create a blocking platform, but also to pre-build a future monastery spot. And now if he gets the next monastery tile, then he can actually go over here quite safely, because it will be a 7-point spot rather than a 6-point spot. There's a huge difference in terms of the chances of getting a meeple back between a 6-point and a 7-point monastery. That's like really the critical threshold right there. I'm just refreshing because I'm paranoid, but I wasn't the one who was having the problem. It seems to me that it was Board Game Arena. The Catalan player takes 2 quick points. The players exchange quick moves. Vengi's trying to block the city, creating a blocking platform, creating another blocking platform, but it ain't gonna work because Edward is going to finish a city and now have a meeple majority and probably victory in this game, to be honest. It's actually a really big advantage because look at the previous move. This road move was a complete block, and yellow will be stuck with 5 points with a +1 meeple majority, which is really not a great meeple investment. So it does seem like it will be quite hard for yellow to win. And there are some ways how yellow can do this, even after these 6 points on the scoreboard. I think the way you do this is you expand your field, you go over here, always. He'll probably do this, or you actually go, yeah, it's tough, it's tough. Okay, you expand your field, and then you try eliminating field connections. And then what you want to do essentially as yellow is you want to bait your opponent into fighting for the field and then block your opponent. Because that's really the one way how you can mitigate the 1 versus 2 meeple disadvantage. You just hope that your opponent goes at a disadvantage. Red here just playing with absolute fire because yellow will absolutely go over here, spend his last meeple, and this is completely worth it. Even though there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's only 2 triangles remaining. That's a bit of a problem. But 2 triangles ain't nothing. Like, I just wouldn't give my opponent chances like this. And yellow now absolutely has chances in this game. Now, of course, he loses value. He's not able to take 2 points, but he still manages to get a productive move in. He manages to eliminate a field connection. This field has multiple cities in it. Oof, what a tough choice here is going to be for the Brits. So it's like 5 points over here. Then wondering, yeah, it's already like a 6th city, so that's like an 18-point field. Still, of course, not enough to surmount the point difference. Now, of course, the Catalan player is starting to chase the city, but will he manage in time? There's still 2 triangles. I think these are 2 regular triangles. Vanilla triangles, I guess. Although, no, it doesn't sound that much. Or actually, you could say they're vanilla Doritos. But vanilla-flavored Doritos, would that be weird? Would you eat that? Yeah, difficult decision here for Ted. Because look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like all 5 triangles with the road already on the board, which means that if red finds some sort of city cap with a road or any city tile with a road, then yellow will not be able to complete his city, but just in time, yellow managed to get one of the 2 triangles, and he's absolutely back in the game. And this is why, as red, you don't give your opponent chances like this. Was yellow lucky? Yes, kinda. But it doesn't matter. Look at this, and this is exactly, he loves seeing this move, because what is going to happen now? Red now realizes, oh, I'm behind, and he drops a farmer. And yellow now will not take 4 points over here. He will carefully recount the tiles. He will double check that all the 3 daggers are out, but of course they are. 1, 2, 3, and he will go over here and block this meeple. What? Why? Did he really, maybe, did he check all row tiles? Maybe he thought that there were no row tiles remaining, but I think there are some. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, no curves remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 1 straight line remaining. That's interesting. So he decided that he needs the 4 points more than blocking the connection. But does he really? And that was a kind of really quick decision. I'm so surprised by this, right? Let me think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a 21-point field. Surely if you place this tile over here, you manage to secure the 21-point field. Why give your opponent a 50% chance at the connection? Or did I miscount the straight lines? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's still 1 of them remaining. So, I don't know. So La Nova Era chooses a 7-point spot instead of a 9-point spot for a monastery. That's inexplicable to me. Maybe he knows something that I don't. Ted is just getting more quick points. Well, that's certainly interesting. The ruin is now unified. Yellow has another ruin over here. I triple check the straight lines. There has to be one remaining. Well, I assume now he will use the tile to block, right? Why? Did I really miscount? No, I don't think I did. La Nova Era doesn't get it. He gets it. He gets it. He gets it on the last tile. So Aztad, you take the 9-point field. And La Nova Era completes the connection. And that seemed like a... But the question is that even enough for Red to win the game? They do have 2 monasteries. And also, it's good to know that I'm not hallucinating, right? Look at this. Yellow decided that he just doesn't need the field and he's going to win with this majority. What a flex. So Yellow wins +3, taking like an absolutely unnecessary risk. Because the thing is, if Red were actually counting, they could have placed the monastery over here, and they could have won this field outright with a 2 versus 1 majority. So the British player is victorious in this game despite playing with some serious fire. But of course, that makes it for more entertaining. Okay. I do have a lot of news in the chat. So Japan, Czech Republic, Japan won 3 versus 2. That's interesting. So that certainly was a key victory for Team Japan in their hopes of trying to qualify for the playoffs. Brazil won 5-0 against Malaysia quite predictably. Thank you, Bogdan, for reminding me about the background. Alrighty. We're gonna watch a different table now. Or actually, do you prefer to follow the same duel? I feel like I always go to a different duel. Maybe I should experiment. I'm open to your suggestion as to which table you want to see next. But I kind of I want to mix it up. Maybe let's just follow this pair, and then as for the other scores, so this is such an interesting move. Basically, if you place the monastery like this, I'll get back to my sort of philosophy about streaming in a second. There's actually a scenario how you get yourself in Zugzwang, and basically with a certain combination of tiles, if you place the monastery here as red, you may be forced to finish a lucrative city for yellow. But it doesn't happen very rarely, but like about 5% of the time or so. So interesting choice here. So instead of stacking monasteries next to each other, which I'd say the stronger move, Red goes for another interesting move. I mean, you can't really go really wrong with monasteries. Red goes over here to control 2 spots, right? To control this city meeple and to control this city meeple. Actually, in hindsight, I rather like it. It's 4 points. And now as Red, you control pretty much all the squares in the game except this one. So as Ted, do you just meeple this road? I think actually it's okay. You don't get blocked here very often, surprisingly. And even if you do, this road can grow quite long. But I do realize that players are very often reluctant to play like this. So instead, he gives a point to his opponents, which I'm not that big of a fan. Red is building a city outwards next to his monastery, also making it harder for yellow to continue his city, which is great for red. I mean, it's such a big opening advantage, but actually the British player managed to quite masterfully come back from his advantage and from his disadvantage last game. So, you know, just see what happens. Well, it's a massively conservative move, I think, here by red, finishing another city instead of starting a new one. Now a key decision for Ted. He decides not to continue his city, which I really like. He instead finishes this 8-point city. And then his idea will actually to grab a Dorito with a curve and put it over here, and to make sure that this square and this square is blocked. You have one ruin for potentially up to 10 points or so at the end of the game, and you will be controlling 2 blocked meeples of red. And actually that's how you mitigate monasteries. So I think as yellow, you don't need to hesitate. You can like go over here. Yeah, you're giving 1 point to your opponent, but ain't no big deal. And you're controlling your opponent's meeple. And if red wants to finish his monastery, he has to go here. Red actually blocks the city, but I'm not exactly sure whom this favors. So as Ted, I think you can still try and find a tile that blocks this square. Not this one. It will be a very poor decision to place this city cap like this. As yellow, you probably... Yeah, you go over here, start a new city. Exactly. Nope. Well... that sure is interesting, right? So you kind of build up your monastery and you make your... but on the other hand, you make this more vulnerable. I just do not think it's the strongest move, really. But what do I care? What do I care? Because this combination works. So Ted knows here something that I don't, and good for them. Look at how the situation evened up for them really nicely. I mean, certainly, like, this square was not super vulnerable or anything, but this road still needs to justify itself. In the meantime, red finishes his city, finishes yellow's monastery, drops a farmer, but yellow's ahead on the scoreboard. It's an equal game, despite that opening advantage. Yellow decides to continue his ruin, open up more squares, wants to build up for more than 8 points to outscore this monastery, and he does not hesitate putting a shielded tile into a non-completable city, which I do understand. I guess now as yellow, you do start a new city somewhere, maybe just at the bottom, further away from your opponent's field. And if anything, actually, this 6-point field has only 2 green squares. Well, it actually has 3 green squares for development, so maybe it's possible to quash that field. Like straight line over here, some curve over here, this gets blocked to a crossroads. Oh, but he just takes a 1 point for the city. I dislike this move quite strongly. He's taking 1 point instead of 2 points. And also he's actually kind of closing his ruin down, because there's still some ways how this ruin could grow really above and beyond. And now he doesn't have a good place to place this tile. He could have attached it to his triangle, but hey, it ain't gonna work. Oh, he starts a counter field. This is a nice way to use this tile for sure. Now, of course, quite a painful blocking attempt for yellow. Very efficient move by red. You just spend one useless tile and you limit your city from both sides. And now as yellow, you kind of have a dilemma, right? I mean, do you go over here, hoping to finish your road, and then what could happen, you get blocked from the other side and then you just wasted a move? Or do you just forget about this meeple and start a new city? Or like you could just take 2 points over here? I think maybe he should still try this. I probably would still try this. But let's just see what happens. Interesting. So Self-Evident is saying that Japan earlier today won table 3 by a no-show. So the decisive game in a key duel, the decisive duel in a key match for who's going to qualify in Group A, I think, yeah, Japan's Group A, was decided by no-show. Well, I guess the Czech captain might have something to say about that. I mean, I hope they're okay. Oh, snap! I like this move. It's really good. It's really good. It's just basically having your cake and eating too. So he wants to go over here, kind of start a new city, but then just in case, he also sort of saved his road, sort of. Well, but why? Yeah, if you're gonna, I can't. What was the urgency with finishing that city? I mean, if you're gonna start a nice combination, why not just continue it? Again, maybe the player with the yellow meeples knows something that I don't. And they're still doing quite well. They have a massive 12-point field, which is outscoring this field for now. So that's quite nice for them. Yellow started building a new city like this, throwing a divider into the field. That's really nice for them. Yellow goes for the greed for a 4-point road, potentially a 6-point road if he manages to get 2 curves. But then he could also drop a farmer, try to sneak into this big field and still preserve the other field. Players exchange some quick points, some natural move, and as said, you have to be loving this tile. This is the game-winning tile for you. Yes, the British player will take down this duel. This move is just so strong. It starts a new 6-point field. It protects this other field. And you have 3 open city caps to just make this city score for absolutely epic proportions. Maybe less experienced players can be wondering, you know, why you don't start a new city. Like, fields like this, they're just so dangerous. Yeah, look at this. So it's a 10-point move. 4 points for a city, 3 points for one farm, 3 points for the other farm. That's just incredible. Of course, there's still this field connection spot that that red should have considered using instead of just playing a move in 1 second. But yellow now is really in a bit of a strong position, and red is in a bit of a pickle, right? Because what do you do as red? Do you try to fight for this field, in which case the second yellow meeple can come right back in, or do you try give up on that field and simply make sure to connect these 2 fields together so that these guys don't score twice? In the meantime, red gets some quick points, complete this block. There's no tile that is left in this square, and as Vengi, you just have to love this. Okay, maybe you go over here. Take 2 points. Pre-finish the road. Yep. Going for the greed. We're in no rush to finish this road. And the tile that yellow would absolutely love to see is a triple city to put over here and to block his own farmer with 12 points. This self-blocking farming technique was actually quite lucrative, I think, well illustrated in a video I made slightly over a year ago. It was called Tricky Middle Game Puzzle or Carcassonne Middle Game Puzzle, something like this. It says it's currently one of the most viewed videos on this channel, so do check this out. He got it! He got it! He will do this! Or will he? That's the question, because red found something incredibly resourceful. Red now managed to potentially unify these 2 fields. And yellow immediately was forced to use this tile on trying to prevent it, right? Because there's now no tile left that fits into this square. Because look at this. All the right-handed daggers are over here. So the tile that would go over here and unify all fields does not fit anymore. But still, kudos for red for finding this resource to come back from this position. Because if this small field and this small field were to unify with this big field, well, then it would have been anybody's game. So Edouard decided to fight for this field from this side, But it's a question now whether it's going to be enough. Because he still has to let his meeple make his way into the field like this. There are still some curves. There are still 4 curves remaining, but 4 curves, oh man. That's what you get for getting the clamps. One of the clamps. Righty. I'ma try do something over here. Yeah, they're fighting for the field. Oh, a nice farmer here by yellow. I'll explain that in a second. So... Oh, these are left-handed daggers. Thank you for correcting me, self-evident. So now Edward's trying to connect over here, but yellow meeple, this crucial field, he'll be trying to sneak in over here. And Edward does not connect to his field. He's going to be blocked. He's not afraid of that. He decided he needs the meeple back first. I am kind of surprised by that move. I mean, surely you now have to save this, right? Right? Or do you just say YOLO and drop another farmer here and try to connect through a vanilla city cap? No, you don't, because there are no vanilla city caps remaining. There are no tiles that are left to fit into this square. So maybe you could just actually complete the connection with this tile. Simply not to lose the field. Maybe that's the play here. But that's the problem. Like, you need to accomplish many, many objectives here by red, as red. So he goes into the tank and does something completely inexplicable to me. So he blocks a square which was already blocked, because all the 4 starting tiles were already out. And Ted here must be just singing from joy. He can go do so much cool stuff. I mean, he can go over here, block this farmer completely. He can go... I mean, yeah, that's the move, and that's the victory right there. So, of course, now Red's trying to fight for the other side, as they should. But still, this 3-point farmer doesn't have too much to show for it. Also, interestingly, Ted takes 4 points for the road, but this creates another field connection for yellow for red. And red can absolutely get a city piece like this and try to connect through a piece of road like this, and I think this is exactly what's going to happen. Yellow now scores 2 points, gets his meeple back, scores another 6 points for the road, and La Nova Era does not get a farming tile. But that's actually quite interesting. So they are now controlling this seemingly big field with 2 versus 1 advantage. But this field has only 3 cities on it and has only 9 points. Whereas yellow is controlling this 15-point field with like just 3 squares. How efficient a field is this, huh? I think as Edward, you just go here, connect the fields, and then just hope to see another day. Because what could happen? I see there still a regular Dorito remaining. And if yellow gets that Dorito, yellow just separates all the fields. Preserves the 15 points here, preserves the 15 points here, scores 30 field points with just 2 meeples, and just crushes it. Kaika is saying watching Alexey commentating is sometimes more entertaining than watching the game. Oh, thank you, thank you. So as Ted, we have multiple options. We could actually just go here and drop a farmer. Or maybe not drop a farmer. Just simply eliminate that field connection. Actually, I really like that move. Because, like, how else does red win? You could go here, eliminating a field connection. But this also would create a field connection like this. There's still a sufficient number of curves remaining to try YOLO. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, one curve. Still, one is a sufficient number, right? If you're relatively new to Carcassonne, like, when you are ahead significantly in the game, and your opponent has one tile which can bring them back into the game, it is one tile too many. Even though, oh, you know, like, what are the odds that they're going to draw that exact tile? Well, 50%, or like slightly below 50% if they're in the second position. So we just really need to take no chances. So I assume the British player here is calculating which field connection to eliminate. He could go here, he could go here. I don't really see any other moves. Here, I don't think would be a good move. So let's just see what happens. Oh, thank you for giving us the score. So, triple ever. That's Nick Basti, the winner of the 2022 Mind Sports Olympiad. Predictably won against Dani Garcia on table 2. So that's a key matchup there for Catalonia. Oh, was the scoreboard updating or not? I clicked on it, so now it should be there. But I didn't see whether it was actually updating or not. Well, anyway, it's looking great for Team UK because Wally won his first game. Jacques Fuss won his first game against the really strong Catalan player Nuria Casanovas on table 5. And Chris Tucker, with the lovely screen and Fanatical Lime, has won against Isabella del Corzo. So Catalonia needs for a lot of things to happen in order to turn this around. In the meantime, no significant developments over here. Red is trying to pull off some sort of miracle, but the thing is, like, it's still only a 9-point field. What they need to do is just, like, connect all these fields and then find a super majority with the meeple somehow. But it does seem that they're just resigning. Yellow starts a new city over here, which may or may not be finished, but it doesn't matter at this point. Yeah, red just scores 3 points. They can score any point they can get. They want to score any point they can get. Ted will now go over here. You know why? Because this is the last curve, and this will separate this 15-point field, this 15-point field, and the 9-point field by his opponent. Well, I mean, I don't know if he will go over here. I know that he should go over here. I mean, at least I don't see anything else. I didn't check out the remaining tiles. I think there should be a Dorito. I think there should be a road exactly. Yes, so... I mean, just look at these farmers. Even though this game was one-sided, it was looking like this. And also, who had the opening advantage? Red had quite a healthy opening advantage, but it does seem that Yellow managed to outplay Red on the fields yet again. Look at these farmers. I mean, that's just ridiculous. 30 points, 2 meeples, and one of the farmers 3 squares. Oh. Just masterful field performance here by the Brits. And we're going to congratulate Team UK on being really, really close to winning the match. In fact, in order to win the match, they need to win one more game on any table. So I guess those of you who are rooting for more exciting content now need to root for Team Catalonia. Vika is asking, move of the week, those two yellow farmers. Maybe. Which one of the yellow farmers? Maybe the second one. Alright, so quite a convincing win with plus 28. So now we're actually going to look at another table. But which one? Okay, let's have a look at Jacques Fuss over here. Must be interesting if he managed to pull the upset. Because, like, not only is Noria normally strong, I mean, I think she's like, generally in good shape for the championship. She won a really tight match against Stroncio, I think. That was when Catalonia and Spain were playing. Which was, I guess, Catalonia's main decisive game in this championship. And Catalonia happened to lose 3 versus 2. And here the Catalan player is doing great. She's like 34 points ahead on the scoreboard. She has an extra meeple. How we're doing for farmers? Let's check. So green, that's the British player, has 2 farmers. She has 0 farmers on the main field, but this guy's about to connect and this guy's about to connect. But let's see if that even matters. It doesn't matter, she decides. So she just doesn't want to connect the farmers. She changed her strategy. She drops... Wait. That's interesting. So she just drops a divider in this field simply in order to add some city caps in this tiny 0-point field and make this farmer score. That's actually pretty interesting. And she doesn't go for the 6-point city over here. That's also quite interesting. So what does green need to come back? I see this city here in the center for 6 points. If completed, it would turn into a 14-point city plus a meeple back plus 3 points for the farm. Then suddenly green is not doing so bad. The problem is the daggers. Because I see a 1, a 2. Oh, so there's actually still 1 dagger left that fits into this square, if I'm not mistaken. That's certainly a key tile to be drawn. Jacques Fuss gets a 4-point road. With 1 meeple, they need to take any quick points they can get. And the key tile is drawn by the Catalan player. This was the dagger that Jax needed in this square. He's still going to score 6 points for the city, 1 point for the monastery, and 3 points for the farm. That's a 10-point move. I guess not too much to complain about. On the other hand, there was a case to be made to actually make a play like this. Because you have a super majority on the field, you have 2 meeples here. As green, maybe you actually want to bring in that red farmer to make sure that this guy doesn't score 6 points, and also that this city cap ends up in the main field. I presume that green decided that he wants to do that later. Ooh, that's such a nice move here by the Catalan player. She made sure that it is not possible to place the Dorito here and bring this completed city into the field for 3 more points. Now I think as the British player, you probably go here, as ugly as it may seem. But this move gives you 9 points instantly, right? You get one more city cap for your field, and you take away 6 points for your opponent. Well, okay, you lose 1 point because you're adding like stuff to your opponent's monastery. Of course, red can still reconnect to the field theoretically, but maybe you actually want her to try and do that, and just simply hope that she doesn't draw the connection tile. This is the point in the game where you calculate really hard the tiles, the points, and it does seem, honestly, that yellow has no shot in this game because yellow is not playing, but green has a shot in this game because green is playing. And has the main field. And let's say if there is a city cap remaining, I'm now going to count right now. If he goes over here, he can flip and he hopes that he draws the city cap for more points. He does not do it just yet. Because there was one regular city cap remaining. So he wanted to do it with a regular cap. That's smart, but ain't gonna work, unfortunately. So now I guess he's going to have to do it with a curve. Yep. So he was actually quite patient, and he calculated this out as Noria. What do you do here? Score 4 points, just anything. It does seem that as red you can simply outrun your opponent despite the big field. Even though this field is 21 points, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait. Oh, it's 18 points. So then it's not a lot at all. Red has this field for 6 points. Oh, look at this lovely technique here. Red deciding that she does not need the big field in order to win. She actually just needs to a small one. So this farmer was bait. Oh, I love plays like this. Alrighty, and we get news that Chris Wallace has won against the Catalan player with screen name Freddy. So that's already another match point for UK. And Chris Tucker had won against Isabella del Corzo on table 1. So that's already 4-0 for the United Kingdom. And Catalonia here just trying to avoid a 5-0. Wait, so Red decided she actually going to fight for the field. Is that because she calculated that there was a 100% chance? Maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this is the last crossroads indeed, so nothing else goes here. Right? So this connection is not possible. But the question, the tile that Red has in hand now, can it connect her in the field that way? He decides that this is the case, so he decides to block it. Let's see in a second if he was correct. To be honest, I didn't have the time to tile count. Whoa, he was actually correct. Look at this discipline from the British player. I really like it. I mean, of course, he was forced to take a 1-point road simply so that his opponent does not win this field. But as a result, she actually sneaked her way into her opponent, giving her a 6-point road. And green was forced to place a 1-point meeple in order to block this farmer. And red, as a result, comfortably was able to outscore him on the last move. That's some really nice technique here. So the 0-point farmer, even though it did not connect into the field, it actually did a lot of damage. Just lovely stuff. Plus 16 here for the Catalan. The score is tied, and we're headed into a decider. So, both teams, UK and Catalonia, will be only on 2 victories out of 5, but mathematically they're still not out of it. If they win both of their games, and if the other teams if they win both of their remaining 2 matches in week 6 and week 7, and if the other teams play with each other in a way that's favorable to them, they could actually still qualify, which means that the tiebreaker still matters. So it still matters whether the UK wins 5-0 or 5-1. And for Catalonia, it's just the same. Bogdan is saying perfect result for Latvia, Ukraine. At least for now, for sure. There's some argument to be made that, like, because of the fact that Catalonia didn't have great tiebreakers before, there was an argument to be made that Ukraine and Latvia should be rooting for Catalonia instead of UK, but it's not entirely clear. But certainly, indeed, after this match, so these two teams will be on 2 out of 5, and Latvia and Ukraine, one of the teams will be on 5 out of 3, and the other 3 out of 5, and the other one will be on 2 out of 5. So whoever wins our main match of today and of the week, which of course you all have to tune in like 2 hours, no, 1 hour, 2 hours, 15 for. Yeah, in 2 hours, Then that team will be in sole 3rd place in their group. But let's just see what's happening in this game. Jacques Fuss is very happy to meeple this monastery, and I think chooses slightly, well, there are arguments to be made for both cases. Actually, I prefer this monastery spot because of pre-building the road and also because of stuff like this. And now Jack cannot score 4 points for the road, and because of this vicious attack by Red, he's forced to take only 2 points in order to protect this square. Red managed to complete 2 cities in the early game, and so she has extra points on the scoreboard, which is very nice for her. She maybe will complete her city, but is in a semi-vulnerable position. We'll see what happens with that. The problem with the city is the fact that this 3-point road can be taken by green with tempo if green gets a road tile. So green can take this road and make this square even more vulnerable from both sides. Also, what green has going for him is this city which has now been secured. There are 4 regular city caps that fit over here. Surely he'll be able to find a city cap that goes here. Actually, it's a question whether he should close his city or just score 4 points. Oh, he goes for the block. That's interesting. And it works immediately, because Nuri is not able to finish her city. But then, I mean, we kind of sacrificed 4 points as green, and red got 4 points here anyway. So it's still like we got -8 for this sequence. It's certainly something that red has to be happy about. Red starting yet another city, now threatening some blocks over here. Green is going to make the only legal move, and red is going to think, will she just finish green's road in order to preserve this 75% chance of finishing her city? I don't think he should, to be honest. I think she couldn't care less about this meeple being blocked. She can take 4 points over here. Yeah, exactly. She could just simply say, you know what, green, I'm going to outrun you with a meeple minority. And green's saying, oh, you're gonna outrun me? Okay, just try. I'm going to block your meeple. I'm going to get my meeple back. I'm going to get a city cap and meeple a field. A fantastic tile here for green. He managed to secure this monastery and the road is just beautiful. In the meantime, also great sequence of tiles for red. Absolutely great scoring. 4 points for this road and 2 points for this road. And at the same time, creating a blocking platform or attacking platform for the city, which was quite efficient, but she will not be able to use it. And you know what? Even though red is ahead of the scoreboard, I really like green in this position, because green has 4 high impact tiles. And if he manages to draw one of them soon, over here, this move comes with a farmer as well. This city, when completed, will give him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 points on the scoreboard. So that's right, only -1. Then this farmer, this here can be built up quite efficiently. So the evaluation of the position is actually not only just about points, it's also about potential. So you see the simplest straight line is actually like a super high scoring farmer. Yeah, go ahead. You can do it. I would. 4 meeples, like, we don't need to wait, because this farm will be big. Exactly. Normally, when one side is kind of waiting for a city tile to complete their medium-sized city, it is actually the other side's job to drop anticipation farmers. But this didn't happen. So as red, what do you do here? Do you still continue your strategy with simply trying to outrun your opponent on the scoreboard? Do you just take 2 points over here? Or do you say, never mind the 2 points, I'm going to go over here, drop a farmer, and then you, green, are going to connect my farmer through this city cap into the field like this. You know what else she could do? She could go over here, drop a farmer like this, then get herself a Dorito with a road, place it over here, and drop another farmer like this, and say, you know what, green, if you want to finish the city, you will have to bring in 2 of my farmers into your field. Do you want to do that? Do you want to do that, green? But she doesn't do it. She first of all goes for the quick points. And now again, same choice. Does she go for the farm? Does she continue her city? Or does she take simply 3 quick points for the road? She decides to do neither? And she equalizes this city, which I think I see where she's coming from. Like, you play moves like these, just equalizing moves to minimize variance. But you do them only when you think that you're far ahead. But you're not. Green is ahead. Green's going to drop another farmer. So maybe it could be viewed as an act of overconfidence from the Catalan player. Certainly an interesting decision here. A fantastic tile for her, securing the monastery. She's gonna get some lucrative points from this pair of breweries, as Belgians would call them, and get some meeples back. She can also threaten to complete the city. That's also a viable strategy as well. So there's some venom in red's position. I guess as green, you probably don't want to be starting a new road, because 5 road ends are out and your meeple will be stuck for a long time. So I guess you want to go over here or over here, but why here? I can't say I entirely understand this move. Also, blocking your own field, that's kind of seems iffy. Actually, I'm a bit too diplomatic. This was like definitely a mistake, 100%. So, yeah. So now he's forced to connect to the city because blocking the city is no longer an option. And red is happy. Hey, I'm going to pick up this empty city cap. And now as red, I'm going to try to build pressure on this square and try to make sure that you stay here with 1 point. And I, as red, am here with 7 points and even more if I get more and more city tiles and to build like this. Green is trying to build yet another city, which is quite interesting. Are there tiles to complete? It does seem so. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Doritos remaining. So quite a good chance to like finish a little city with Doritos. There's some scenarios how these two fields merge, and then you have a control of a big farm of two cities, but it ain't gonna happen because the Catalan player will probably go over here or over here, trying to break the city. She doesn't even need to place the meeple, but she does so for extra security. However, because Jacques Fass created this threat, this square was unperturbed, and he's able to safely complete the connection. But the Catalan player is playing, saying, you know what, I'm going to just take away this city from you with two triangles, which means that Green is probably forced to go over here and finish their shared city simply to deny her this opportunity. Juliano's asking, does Alexey even sleep? I mean, this stream is not so early in the morning. It's like 4 p.m. here in the UK. It wasn't that hard to prepare. And also, I have a captain's interest here as well. In addition to watching the match, I'm studying the British players because we'll have to play against Team UK in our next week. So we can pick up on Jackface liking early farmers and using city caps for blocks. That's something interesting. I'll see how we could use this information. Elias is saying, but you're studying them out loud. Oh, it's not a problem, because you see, it's a win-win. In order to understand... So, like, either... There are two scenarios. Either Team UK is not going to see the stream, in which case my secrets are safe between me and 100 viewers. Wait, how many? Okay, 70 viewers for now, but it will be more towards the end of the stream, I hope. Or they do watch the stream and then my secrets are revealed, but I get some extra viewership and it's good for the algorithm and stuff like that. So it's a win-win. In the meantime, the Catalan player draws a fantastic tile, and you know why it is fantastic? It is because a tile that Green really needed. Green could have used it over here to score 7 points for his farmer and the city, but it's not possible anymore. She goes for the content moves. She's trying to fight for this big city / ruin, but I rather like this move. But in the meantime, finally, Jacques Fass completes this 18-point city, and this field now grows to 9 points, at least 9 points. Now he's up on the scoreboard. I'm surprised that... Actually, I'm not surprised, but it's interesting that Red didn't drop a farmer. It does seem that it was an excellent opportunity to start fighting for this 12-point field, but she decided she wants some firepower first. Jacques Fass deciding to secure his 9-point field with a second meeple. I would have preferred a farmer here, really, because this field is way more important. So I think it's not quite precise play here from the British player. He's now trying to block the city, and just in time, because the Catalan player had the city cap in her hand, like already itching to put it over here. I assume, you know, like she was already clicking on that square, confirm, pre-moving, but then she was denied immediately. But let's see, maybe there are still city caps left to finish that city. I'm not so sure about that. City caps with crossroads out. Starting tiles out. Are there daggers? What? No daggers! So there are no city caps that left here. That's so interesting. So this simple move with a curve was so impactful. Might as well be the game-deciding move. Having some discipline. Not meepling a 6-point field just yet, But first of all, making sure that your opponent doesn't get a city cap. So that's some precise play here by the British player. Oh, Chris Wallace is on the stream. Okay, so my secrets are not secret from the British team. Well, so be it. Also, it's the question, like, now you know that I know that Jack likes using city caps for blocking instead of scoring city caps. But what are you going to do with this information? And what am I going to do with information that you know that I know? So it's just more interesting that way, when everybody has intel on each other. In the meantime, it seems like Jack simply wants for the game to end, because he has control of the field. He's now just simply adding 1 point to his city, building up a shared city. Nuri is adding 1 point to her monarchy. She's not fighting for the field just yet, but she surely will have to at some point, right? Surely she'll have to. Surely Red cannot leave Jack's farmer alone. Oof! Oof! What an anticipation farmer here by Green. That has to hurt so bad. Now Red, of course, will get a meeple back. But it may be too late. Because look at this field control. 12 point here. 6 points here. 6 points here. 9 points here. Nine, 6, that's 15 plus 18. 33 field points. And all in different places. Like, I mean, what do you do with stuff like this? Especially with this tile. Okay, you can, like, go for a 6 point field over here. How do you equalize all the other ones? Maybe you just take 2 points over here and wait for a better tile. Never mind, because that's Jack's tile. Sorry for missing that. It's Green's tile, so he will probably be just happy to take the 2 points. Maybe he's double checking if there are actually city caps. Oh, he goes for the content moves. You know, he just wants to doctor his stats and make sure that he scores as many field points as possible. But I rather like this move in all honesty. Like, he doesn't need the meeples. As Nori, I probably have to go here and connect these two farmers. This move will give you 6 points without a meeple investment. That's just what you have to do. And then you want to hope to connect to this field at the last second, right? I don't think we meeple this, to be honest. I don't think we meeple this road. But I could be wrong. It does seem that maybe the window for farming was much, much earlier for Red. I think this move, that was the situation where a Carcassonne player should be fearless and play their last meeple. I know it's kind of against Carcassonne strategy norms, but sometimes you have to play out of the box in order to make the comeback. Okay, Jack finishes the city so that he has a meeple. Norina now instantly tries to farm. Actually, Green can let her in. He can go like this just so that she doesn't get into the big farm. And maybe that's why I was wrong. Maybe actually the play for Red was to meeple this road to make sure that she doesn't end up with a meeple surplus. Because of course it was in Green's interest to finish the city and get some meeples back for both sides. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8. There's one curve, right? Yep, I'm not mistaken. So this means that there is still a chance of Red going over here. And that's why he decides, you know what? In case you get a curve, I got you covered. I'm letting you into this field just so that you don't get into the big field. And look at this. It totally works. Red is forced to place the tile over here and take a 5-point road. There is nothing better than this. And this 1, 2, 3, 4, 12-point field remained miraculously controlled with just one meeple. It will be slightly closer than we thought, because, I mean, maybe we forgot about this monastery, maybe we forgot about this ruin, and about this little 3-point city. But it's just too many fields. 6, 12, 9. That's 27. So she goes for a 4-point road instead of a 5-point road. It's kind of a nice last-minute blunder over there. Oh! There was the monastery with the road. So, just to add insult to injury with his last tile, Jack was able to get himself even more field points and basically eat up this little meeple and have a 2-to-1 majority on a 15-point field. And the UK pulls an upset on table number 5 and wins the match as predicted, but I don't think it was predicted that the UK would win 5-0. That's already 2-0-5 Catalonia losses for Catalonia. That has to hurt quite bad. But yeah, we have to congratulate the British players on actually still having a chance in this tournament. So Team Latvia has to prepare for a hard battle in the next round, because Team UK will still be hungry for more victories. But before that, there's still one other match to watch, and just under 2 hours, Team Latvia will first of all have to face fierce opposition from Team Ukraine. Elias is saying you can go back and check the odds of 5-0. Oh, thank you for suggesting this. I absolutely am going to do that. So what were the odds of that happening? If we look at just at the calculator, 11%. Actually, that's really not a lot, because I think duel number 5 was so much in favor for the Catalan player, and that upset secured just a monumental win for Team UK. But the odds don't matter. The only thing that matters is the outcome, and it is what it is. Really strong performers here from Team UK. Also, I guess you could argue about some captaining strategy from Team Catalonia. So Danny Angelats with the screen name Senglar, who's one of the strongest players and the captain, is not playing. The player with the screen name Bali, who's also super strong, is not playing. Like, lots of maybe strong players are not playing. But the unorthodox captaining strategy just ended up not working today for Catalonia. Right, remove the stats. Okay, you asked for the fantasy team update. I have been giving updates slightly every stream, so this one's going to be very short. Fantasy 5. Too many windows open. There we are. So as you can see, Craft Giraffe here is doing even better after some interesting results yesterday. I haven't added the China-Hungary outcomes yet, I think. Or maybe I have, I don't remember. Then the second one is Bogdan Kurkan, who bet on his brother, and the third one is Matt Tucker, who bet on himself, just not other British players. So he didn't play himself, so he's going to maybe lose out in the standings a little bit. And as you see, the British players are doing quite well in predictions, as they are in today's match. I'm going to quickly scroll through so that you can see how your standing has changed since yesterday. And then after Latvia's game, I will add some more results because there's several matches happening, and then I'll do another quick update. My pick is not doing too bad. We'll see how it does after this evening's match. I don't think I picked anybody from Team UK. I did pick somebody from Team China, but they didn't play this week. And interestingly, that nobody is on 5 out of 5 in terms of the players who actually won, because most players didn't play all 5 matches. So Michael Rus from RCP was on 4 out of 4, but as you can see, he skipped the last match, so he's now on 4 out of 5. Then the same goes for Marian Kurkan, who was on 4 out of 4, but he's not playing today against Guatemala, so he's going to be on 4 out of 5. And the only player who has a shot at being on 5 out of 5 is actually Marco Rivas from Mexico. I'm not sure if they're lined up today. I didn't check, but I think they are. And only one person bet on them. Actually, who was that? Yeah, so the letter M for screen names has been quite successful. Ah, yeah, that was Nicholas Victor. So they must be quite happy with the Mexican success, possibly even happier than Team Mexico is. Alrighty, enough of Fantasy 5. There will be more of that later today. I have to go rest my voice and also check the chat. Ah, Elias, thank you for confirming that he's playing. Alright, removing the Fantasy 5 from the screen. Show you the final position again. Show you the standings. And then that's going to be it. I'll see you all in just under a couple of hours. If you don't get the notification, go to my channel. The link is already there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.